You guys are tuned to the Watch Podcast with your host, owner-operator, Eric Huggins, Nice Watch Patrol. We are the light in the dark. Psalm 139, verse 12.
And today, we're on episode 34. Don't Tase Me Bro!
What's going on, guys? You guys are tuned to the Watch Podcast. Today we're on episode 34, and our topic today is Don't Tase Me Bro. And some people may wonder, Eric, why tasers? Get into that in a minute. Well, the reason why I'm starting to see a lot of increase in security guards, security officers carrying tasers. Obviously, over the years, it's become more socially acceptable to the public. Rather than pulling out a firearm, we can obviously pull out a non-lethal, which is taser. And I've noticed that here in the state of California, with BSIS, which is the Bureau of Security Investigative Services, I've noticed that there's not a whole lot of options for security guards. Now, a lot of security companies have completely gone unarmed. And that leaves the security guard naked, essentially. They can't really necessarily defend themselves. They can't even carry pepper spray, because a lot of places that pepper spray could be used would be more on the indoor side. And obviously, if you pepper spray someone indoors, you can potentially get the overspray on other persons that are coming in, bystanders that are coming in, and they're walking in, and they're all getting the effects of it because of one person's poor choice of words or actions, or refusing to leave somewhere. So everyone gets it, and so what happens is now it's a liability. Now someone's going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to sue this company because this guy pepper sprayed, and now I can't see for the rest of my life." I'm sorry, Pete. That does happen quite often. Okay, they said I can't see anymore. Wow. Okay. So the new option in life, it has become, tasers have been a new choice. Now, not just for security, but it's been a choice for law enforcement since the 1970s. The Taser International, started deploying tasers out there. Now, obviously, we'll fly back 20, 30 years. Now we've kind of evolved in the tasers. Now we're not just doing dry stuns on people. Now we can actually now we have tasers that actually have probes in them, and that if they leave for a short distance, and we're attempting to incapacitate them, slow them down a little bit. Then we can actually deploy our tasers. Now, tasers would come in different, obviously different ranges. It could be 21-footer, or it could be a 12-footer, which would be more like on the close quarter side. Obviously, if someone's coming towards you, you don't want to shoot a 21-footer. A 12-footer would probably be appropriate, right? So the question is, now a lot of you guys see the X-26s, and you guys, for those that work the private sector, they're seeing them, and it's kind of like, it's kind of like the new thing that oh my God, I see a taser, I want one. Okay. And I guess the big question is, like, when do you ever use them? So I'm starting to see that security guards are starting to use them inappropriately. Now, it used to be back in, I don't know if you guys remember, back in 2008, there was a guy named Andrew Meyer. Andrew Meyer was a student of the University of Florida, and he was that guy that said, "Don't tase me, bro." You guys remember that? If you guys don't, then you're too young. But I remember It was all over the news. It went viral. It was all over the news. This guy refused to leave the auditorium as he was being escorted by the campus police department, and so they tased him. And so it became a a very it became a very liberal thing where they started protesting over it because this kid got tased because he refused to leave. Now, obviously, it was justifiable at the time because the officers gave him several commands to leave. And now over the years, the Florida the police department, or Florida law, actually changed because of this guy. So now you can't, if someone's refusing to leave, you can't just go up and tase them. um, so yeah, so I would say between the years of between 2010 and 2018, there's been 1,000 people that have been tased by police and had died at the end of 2018. 153 of those were deaths, were related to the to tasers, and about 500 people died in 2018 in the U.S. after being shocked by police with tasers. Now, sometimes you guys may wonder, well, how do people die from tasers? Well, if you guys, tasers, it's not the amperage that kills people. I mean, excuse me, it's not the voltage that kills people. It's the amperage. So tasers, typically their amperage are going to be anywhere from 4.5 to 4.9 milliamps, and that creates 1 amp. Now, tasers have 50,000 volts. Now, 50,000 volts can definitely incapacitate somebody. Their neurological transmitters will everything will die. Will fall. Will be completely temporarily incapacitated by the electrical shock, and that's when an officer is able to detain someone. Get them to get the person to surrender. Obviously, it's not a very good feeling. I know it's not a very good feeling, and so yeah, it does assist in a lot of law enforcement arrests. So that's a good thing. So obviously, why are people dying? People are dying because of the misuse of them. The misuse of them would be as we go, if you guys have gone through taser training. If you haven't, I recommend that you guys do. But if you haven't gone through taser training, so there's a few couple warning things that you guys need to understand. The thing is that if you're around water, obviously, if it's raining, using a taser would probably not be a great option. In life or death situations, versus them, and you care about your life more than them, then obviously you gotta do what you gotta do. But it's highly frowned upon. I don't encourage it. Especially for those that work in the private sector, I don't encourage you guys to use tasers when it's raining. Unfortunately, it's just high risk, low reward out of it. Most of the time, they'll get slapped on the wrist for a violation, and then after that gives them the opportunity to go back and sue your company or sue you as a whole. So, and also when we think about the tasers, we have to think about we have to think about where we're located, where the demographic that we're in. If we're in front of a gas station, obviously, you guys ever lit a lighter, and it has a spark. That's the same exact thing when it comes to tasers. Tasers have sparks in them. So if you're around a gas station and there's fumes, you could potentially catch yourself on fire, catch your taser unit on fire, or if you did deploy your taser, it can catch that person on fire. Years ago, there was an officer that was on a foot pursuit. A guy had, unbeknownst to the officer, the suspect had a gas tank in his backpack. So the officer tased him, and the guy caught on fire. And obviously, he survived, but that's another incident. Well, we obviously, as an officer, he doesn't know what the guy has in his backpack, and unfortunately, that spark was enough to engulf a flame onto that person. So that wouldn't be considered a misuse of them, but like, things happen. So we have to be cognizant of where we're at. Obviously, if there's a cliff, there, we don't want to tase someone because they're going to lose all motor sensors, and they're going to fall down, free fall, and you're going to kill them. So if someone's on a ledge somewhere, and you're trying to get them to back away from the ledge and come towards you so you can make that detainment, it would not be in the best interest to tase the person, because his whole body motor functions go out, and he could potentially fall down and kill himself and die. And that would be on you. So we have to be careful. We have to be careful in the areas that we're in, because we could potentially hurt somebody, fatally hurt someone, because of the misuse of them. So that's why training is important. Carrying a taser is cool and everything, and it looks cool in your duty belt. You got more extra utensils and equipment on your duty belt. But when does it become a time where we have to really go through some serious training on the use of tasers? So obviously we want to make sure that we have to make we have to look at the person that we're in confrontation with, and we have to make that 2 second, not even 2 seconds, that's too long. We have to make that 1 quick second decision whether we're going to deploy our taser. That's based off based off their body mass index. So obviously, if they're really, really skinny, right, I may not want to tase them. It may be too much for them. So obviously, kids, don't tase kids. Those are sensitive groups. Kids are sensitive groups. Yeah, kids over the years have really tested us. But it would be very, very it would be one hell of an outrage if you tased a kid. So I recommend those that work the private sector, do not tase any children. I don't care if they got a beard and everything. If they look like a kid, they're running around a bunch of kids, we have to make that judgment call and say, this is probably like a 16, 17-year-old kid. I may not want to tase them. And also, we all want to make sure that we're not tasing the elderly group. Okay? Yeah, elderly don't care. They'll talk to you any kind of the way they want to. And we have to find other ways to communicate with them to get to de-escalate the situation versus using a taser. So if they're refusing to leave, a simple you grab the wrist, you grab the elbow, and kindly walk them off. Tasing them would not be a good option for them, because obviously their hearts may not be able to handle those 50,000 volts that are going towards them, even if it's just 1 amp. Like I said, guys, amps are what kill you. The voltage is what is gonna it's gonna make you feel like it's gonna make you suck. It's gonna suck. So, and like I said, most security guards don't carry any self-defense tools. There's not enough self-defense tools that BSIS is allowing us to carry, other than pepper spray. Pepper spray is good on certain occasions, but for most occasions, obviously, if you're in indoor places, if you guys work in LA, or you work in the metro, the bus stations, and someone's refusing to leave, it would not be in the best interest of that security guard or the company to pepper spray someone inside of a bus. Because if you pepper spray someone inside the bus, you're gonna contaminate the whole bus. People are gonna be freaking out. Their eyes are gonna be burning. And the bus driver is gonna hate you for life, and because he won't be able to finish and continue his route. So obviously we have to look at things in the best interest of. Okay, we can't get in our feelings all the time. Yeah, I know. I work security. My feelings are hurt on a daily basis. Okay, let me tell you. And it's up to us as a person. Obviously we're going to mess up, and sometimes we're going to take matters in our own hands sometimes, because we feel like maybe justice is never served sometimes. But we have to be when we're working for a company and we're working in a public place, we want to make sure we're doing things in the best interest of. So So mainly security guards, security officers will carry a baton, a firearm, and pepper spray. That's all we qualify for. And you look at it, is this enough? And this enough is this enough equipment for us to carry on a 12-hour shift working in a high crime area? I would say no. It's not enough. There's not enough non-lethal options for security guards. So security guards are out there. That's why you see so many news stories of these security guards shooting people and using and batoning the hell out of people and pepper spraying them in the wrong place because there's not enough options for security guards. You know, we're living in the year of 2024 and we forget. You know, and we forget, and there's not enough options for us to unload on our duty belt. You know, I think pepper spray is a great tool in many instances, but it's not always the best tool and the best option. You know, like I said, you take security on a San Francisco on a trolley, and to remove someone, and the security guard pepper sprays the subject inside the trolley or the bus. Then obviously, you know, the entire car is contaminated and exposed to the pepper spray. Um, you know, and same thing with the security officer that works in a downtown office building, shopping mall, or any other enclosed places. You know, that's where the security guards need more options. Um, and you know, and tasers could be deployed against one specific person, without the significant risk and harm to the onlookers. So obviously, if you tase someone and people are sitting there looking at you, they see what's going on. You're not going to hurt them. You're going to hurt the person that's in front of you, or I mean, not hurt them, but you're going to disable a person, and that's a good thing. You know, if you're in the right, of course. So for those of the guys that don't know tasers or how they work or how they operate, um, you guys probably go online or whatever, and you guys see the X26, the X26P, and and you guys see the CEW. It's called the conducted electrical weapons. That's what they are, CEWs. And so if you guys ever see that, that's what it is. So that way you guys have a little bit of knowledge on how tasers are, because I just see too many security guards out there that lack the training of tasers. And for me, I am a certified Exxon taser instructor. I instruct the use of the X26s, the X26Ps, the X2s, the T7s with Taser 7s that have kind of been out for the last maybe 4 years. And I have not gone through the Taser 10 training because it'll be a long time before security are able to carry those, and I believe they have gunpowder in them. So I do have to go through the training when it comes available. It is available now, but I need to make some time to go to that training. I just haven't done it yet. Obviously, I'm busy. And if you guys remember the incident, Darren Long. Darren Long, this is years ago, but he was that security guard in Atlanta that used to walk around in a shopping mall. He's gained national attention through YouTube and he also gained a large national following. He was that guy that would carry the taser around, and he would have that he'd have a GoPro of it, and he would repost these videos on YouTube. Well, obviously there's that one incident where if you guys want to look at it, there's that one incident where he's in a verbal altercation with someone, and they're refusing to leave, but they're wanting to leave, but then he's telling them they can't leave, and then he's saying, "Oh, you're not going anywhere," and then so the guy comes towards him and says, "I'm leaving," and he tases them. Now we have to make judgment calls on that because the guy was just doing too much. Um, I've been carrying a taser since 2016 maybe, and I carried tasers when tasers weren't even a thing. A few people had them. When you work private security, we can't afford a whole lot of things. And one of the things that I saved up for about 2 weeks of a paycheck, because I got paid every week. I saved up for 2 weeks and went out to LA to go buy a taser from this guy at a weed shop. It was kind of sketch, not even gonna lie. But anyway, I got my taser. And so I came back, and as I'm driving, it's hour and a half drive. As I'm driving back to Bakersfield, I'm just messing with it. I'm playing with it. I'm going, I was like, this is so cool. So awesome. I got excited. I never been so excited because I never owned something like that before. So I thought it was cool. And then the Darren Long case, that guy carried an X26. The X26, I'm sorry, the M26. The M26 it looked like a little zipper gun, honestly, low key. But the X26s, they're a little bit more discreet. You can hide them. You can put them in your pocket. People won't even know. You can put them on the holster, and that was a beautiful thing about it. Matter of fact, I'll pull it out right now. This is a X26. So these are actually widely used by security. You'll see a lot of security guards carrying them. They come in black and they come in yellow. I like the black because it has a cool sleek look, but I do really prefer the yellow. Because obviously when I'm pulling it out in somebody and that way the public can see that it's something yellow, it's not a firearm. And that's something that where it's not going to freak somebody out, and it's socially acceptable to where people are like, oh my God, hey, he's got a gun. Yeah. So these are the cartridges that the X26 come in. And these two yellow doors are called the blast doors. And after you deploy your taser here, there's a light there, there's a laser. You can actually change the settings on them, which is pretty cool. You have the CID, which is you're able to read the date, the battery life. And then you also have a DPM, which is a digital, it's a damn battery. God dang it. DPM, all right? It's a digital power module or magazine. Either module or magazine. But the correct way for saying would be digital power digital power module. And so and then you have the trigger here, and so anyway, when the X2s and the T7s came out, they have the arc. The arc is going to be here on the side. Usually, what it's to do is to kind of it's a warning arc. Typically, when we're trying to get someone to follow our commands, we ask them to drop the gun or drop the knife, and they tell you to go screw yourself or go pound sand. Then you can use the arc, and that's going to sometimes it helps out, and it helps gets them to kind of do what you want them to do. It kind of de-escalates the situation sometimes. Sometimes it makes it worse, depending on their type of where they're at. But that would be a great option for people to have when it comes to ARC. So obviously, if you are a security guard, you're mainly going to have one of these. And so what you're going to do is obviously you're going to power it on. You're going to get the person to follow your commands, and at the same time, you never want to point it straightly at them. You want to point it down. You want to have it resting position just in case at any point in time, you don't want to pull something out on somebody because you're going to be recorded. So you face it down towards the ground so that you're able to say, hey, you know what, man, I got a taser. Please, I'm asking you to leave. You don't want to leave, and I hit the 5-second ride. Okay. And then obviously if they're coming towards me, I'm going to reload here, and I'm going to point it towards them and ask them to back up. I'm going to back up maybe 3 or 4 steps. We want to make sure that we're in a fighter stance, so we're not backing up to the point where we fall over. So we want to make sure we have one. If you're orthodox, you're right-handed, you're going to have your left foot in front and your right foot in back. So that way you use your right foot to back up, and you're using that right foot also to be able to see where you're at, to feel where you're at behind you. Because the second one that we take our eyes off our subject, then that subject can go ahead and make a move. So we want to be careful for things like that. So these are the X26s, and this is what they look like. So if you guys are interested in buying them, please contact me. I may have a link for you, maybe. But these are very effective when they're used properly. Now, you never want to have security guards that are working for you that may oppose that may appear to be a little bit too high strung. Sometimes they may be a little bit too too gung ho, and those are the kind of guards that you don't want carrying equipment like this, because you're going to leave yourself for a liability. It's you just don't want to do that. A lot of security companies out in LA are carrying the T7s. Obviously, the T7s come with a different there's a different training module for them, but for the most part, they all kind of work the same. It's the thing with the X26s, the prongs, is that the reason why the T7s came out, they have longer prongs, and the probes are a lot longer, and it's because that we were running into the law enforcement officers were running into a lot of individuals that had thicker clothing, and it was hard to penetrate. So if they're penetrating through thicker clothing, it's hard for those probes to actually hit to get to skin contact, and so that's where Taser said, you know what, they got enough complaints and enough, people rolling up say, hey, man, these are great tools, but unfortunately, they're not penetrating through heavy clothing. And so now the T7s came out, so now they penetrate through deeper clothing, which is great, which is a great tool to have. Now, when it comes to so now when we go back to the to the Taser, we have to use reasonable force. We have to make sure that we've exhausted all resources and we're able to kind of escalate it to the next level. Sometimes we go from 1 to 10 without counting first. And so the thing is, with security guards, they typically have a habit of you deploying their tasers without searching for any other option that they may be able to use. Sometimes, obviously, I tell this to everybody: your words are gold. Okay, if you have great communication skills, you're actually going to be one hell of an asset to the company that you're working for. So I just say that make sure that we exhaust our resources before we deploy our taser. There's a lot of critics out there, that say, you know what, because there's so many now because of the misuse from the 2010 and up. There's been a lot of misuses, and now Taser, who was bought by Axon, who has a body cameras. If you guys have a body camera, then you guys were familiar with Axon and how it works. But with the Axon cameras, you would see that there's after they got sold over, then Axon said, we need to create a training division. So Axon did something great, and they created a training division, and now they're able to train, and I was able to, luckily, to be in that class to receive the training as well. And some people will argue that some of these educational programs should not even exist, because they think that it normalizes violence and the vigilante justice among everyday citizens. Now, they argue that carrying a device like stun guns, people are taking matters into their own hands, which is true. I don't know how many security guards I see out there pointing tasers at people and tasing them because they have that vigilante status in their soul somewhere. Um, but I just say that, we have to rely on the justice system to that are designed to uphold these laws. We have to rely on that sometimes. And also want to point out that there's many other self-defense situations that can be diffused by preventive measures, and that obviously is talking to them first. Now, obviously, we have to go through the training and see. We have to go through some of our what would be the preferred use of force. Now, what would be the better way to go when it comes to use of force? Should we talk to them first? I would assume so. We want to just kind of, it's like when you go through stages. You guys ever play a video game and the video game says, all right, well, you got to level 5, we're gonna make it a little bit harder. So sometimes we have to go through the levels before we decide to level up and decide to deploy any non-lethal or even lethal. So we want to make sure we talk to them first. Sometimes we're gonna deal with a lot of security now we're starting to deal with a lot of mentally ill people, so we have to be able to de-escalate some of those situations because sometimes when it comes to deploying tasers, sometimes it may have an adverse effect when it comes to those person that are on drugs. So if someone's completely high on methamphetamine or on stimulant, we may not want to deploy our taser because our taser because those create a electronic shock. Obviously, if the person's heart rate is beating fast, then obviously it may not be a good option. People have pacemakers. Now we're never gonna know if they have a pacemaker, right? But if we pull a taser out on someone and say, "Hey, I have a heart condition," I would probably listen to that. Regardless of whatever the situation's like, I'd say, "Hey, guys, hey, I have a heart condition." But if he's pointing a weapon at you and you can't get yourself out of the situation, then obviously you gotta do what you gotta do. All right. But if it's a situation where he's unarmed, and he's saying, "Hey, I hate you, you're a terrible person, but I have a heart condition," I would probably listen to the guy that says that he has a heart condition versus me just relying on my own understanding. So no one's gonna outright say, "Hey, I have a heart condition," like you know what I mean. So we want to make sure that we are following every law that we can possibly find, and that we're not overusing or misusing the tasers that got deployed. Now here in California, you can buy a taser. You can buy a taser for yourself. You buy a taser for your company, and there's no training. There's no formal training for the use of tasers. Now, like I said, I've carried a taser for quite some time, and I've never really deployed it. And I did deploy it maybe about 2 years ago.
Hands
And
behind your
I'm gonna
back.
show you the video
Put your hands behind your back.
for my body camera.
Put your
But
hands
a
behind
guy
your
came
back.
towards me, and
Yes, you
and
are.
he
Put your hands
walked-
behind your back.
and
And get your hands out of your
I
pocket.
was in an enclosed place.
Get your hands out of your
Obviously, I
pocket.
was inside
Turn
of
around
I
for
was
me.
inside of the garage.
Turn around.
The guy was hiding, and I was kind of nearby the door, and I told him to, "Hey, back up." I had already pulled out. I already had my taser already because I was clearing the building. And the guy comes towards me, and I had no other option but to tase him. And so that's what I did. I was like, "Okay, well, what else do I do?" And obviously, I didn't have any formal training on tasers, on how they worked and how they operated. So obviously, when it came to the first aid, I didn't know how to render first aid. All I remember doing is the guy had prongs on. I put him in handcuffs, and that was about it. But I didn't realize that after I'd gone through the taser training, that there are other ways. There are ways of us being able to remove the prongs without without having medical there. So obviously, if the prongs are stayed in too long, it's going to be a lot harder, because obviously you have that numbness from it, and if you wait for that numbness to go away, it's going to be a lot harder to pull them out. It's going to hurt It's going to hurt like heck. So normally when you get them on handcuffs and you clear the area and everything's clear, you can actually remove them out. Now, obviously that goes into the taser training. Now I would recommend you guys be trained on how to remove them versus just pulling them all out, because it's going to be a different effect, I promise. And so, so anyway, so like I said, I was in this enclosed building, and I didn't know how to render first aid. So I'd look at the video if you guys check it out. As you guys can see, I'm inside of an enclosed building. I'm asking the guy to back up. The guy comes towards me, and obviously, I deploy my taser on him and save the video. Call law enforcement officers. Law enforcement officers do show up. They do take him in. It was actually just a simple trespass, so they didn't want to take him in, but they took him into medical and then the guy was being a complete jerk and he wanted to go to jail. So I mean, I don't know, I don't know what happened after that situation, but I haven't seen him. I never saw him since. And so, so that was the situation. So after that, I said, "Oh my God, I tased this guy, and I know nothing about them." And so the first thing I did was I got on the Axon website, and I went over there and I was looking for training classes. I found a training class, and that's where I went. And with that training class that I had, it was probably the best experience that I've ever had. And I learned so much when it came to taser training. And I just thought to myself, I have to spread the good news, you know, because there's so many security guards here in Bakersfield, in Southern California that have not gone through the taser training, the Axon training, and so they don't know the effects of them. They don't know how to work them. They just know the on and off button. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this bad boy out again. These are a 5-second run. A lot of times when we're tasing someone, we never want to tase them at their face. We want to tase them in areas that has a lot of skin. Areas that have a lot of skin would be the butt, the thighs, the legs, the lower, the back. The back area is a great place, especially if a guy's running. I mean, if you guys work security and the guy's running from you and he runs off property, if he didn't kill anybody or he didn't do anything crazy, I'd say let it go. Okay, but if somebody is coming towards you, you can actually hit the midsection area, the stomach, the thigh. It'll hit the stomach because 2 prongs will come out. You'll get one that goes up and you'll get one that goes to the side. So you're gonna hit two vital areas: stomach where the most skin is, and you're gonna hit the thigh. And those are good areas to hit him in. You never want to point him at their face. Okay. Now, obviously, if it's life or death situation, the guy's running out with your knife and you're freaking out, you know what to do, and you hit him in the face, it is what it is. Okay. But in most occasions, when that does not happen, we want to make sure that we're aiming in the correct place. There is a red dot on these. Okay. So yeah, you should be able to point at their stomach. You should be able to point at their chest. You need to point at areas where there's a lot of meat coming from, your thighs. I always go for the legs. Okay. We're not trying to kill them. We're just trying to incapacitate them for temporarily until we're able to gain control of the situation. Now, we have to think: are tasers the right choice for security officers? It's the biggest question. Are they the right choice? And I say, with the lack of equipment that we are able to carry, I say yes. Security guards, security officers should be able to carry tasers. Is it the right choice? In this time and age, there's too many untrained security guards out there. I would say no. But I would say yes if you train them. Or if you say, you know what? I got 10 guys, or I have an extraction team, or you have maybe 5 guards that are on your team that you want to do the training for. Now, if you are authorized to train these persons on tasers, you're authorized by Axon to train them, I'd say, why the hell not? I am a Axon taser instructor. You can come to me. I will teach you. I will teach you the right way. So, with that being said, so yeah, I do think with the lack of options that security officers have, I say yes, tasers. But we got to put the tasers in the right hands. There's this knucklehead guy on YouTube. I don't know his name. It's a dude with glasses. And I sometimes I listen to him because sometimes the crap that he says, it just mind boggles me. This guy used to own a security company, doesn't own it anymore. I'm assuming he's failed, and so now he talks about security companies and the shortcomings of security of the security officers out there and the lack of training. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, you're right. Security officers do not have enough training out there. Okay, we're caught mostly working all the damn time. We can't get days off. So when the hell do we find time to go to training? He makes a good point, but sometimes his point is to the point no faking. I'm just kidding. I was about to do some villainized stuff. But sometimes it's a lot of things he's wrong. I think security guards should carry tasers. Yes, absolutely. The reason being is because we do not have enough options. 2024, Cops are not showing up. I'm sorry. You sip a loitering trespass, the guy is coming towards you, he's going to kick your ass, and you cannot safely remove yourself from the situation. What other options do you have besides get your ass kicked? Unless you have training in ass kicking. But if you don't have training in that area, then you're going to get your ass kicked. I'm sorry. It's what it is. So, tasers are obviously they're non-lethal, okay? Their ability to subdue a single person without risk of hurting other bystanders is huge. Too many security guards that I see in the damn clubs pepper spraying one person, but pepper spraying several different people that weren't even involved. If I can go to nightclubs and do training for all the security guards on the do's and do nots, the bars and nightclub scene would be a whole lot better. I mean, maybe not, but it would cut down the liability for sure, and it cut down what people are saying about you on whatever, and excuse me, it's important to note that taser guns, stun guns, they still carry a risk of serious injury or even death if you're misusing them. Some people have adverse reactions to electronic strobes, shocks, and that cause hallucinations, elevated body temperature, delirium, and speech disorders, among other things. Tasers, and other devices that create electronic shock should be used absolutely necessary and by those that are trained to do so. However, if the proper criteria is met, they can make an excellent tool for security guards and security officers when it comes to protecting yourself and others with minimal adverse effects. How cool is that? If we have trained security guards, security officers, how awesome would it be to have these tools deployed to all of our security officers with the proper training? Like, I'm sold. Okay? Like, I'm sold. Like, I'm sold. I would say, everyone carries taser guns. But we got to make sure that we're carrying them right. Too many guards out there that get their feelings hurt. And the guy says F off and the guy's mouthy, whatever. And we say these are non-lethal devices. It's not going to kill them. So we deploy taser. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't like spending $40 on taser cartridges because it costs too damn much. They're about $70. Just looking at $35 a piece. Then you got to wait for them to show up and wait for them to ship. And that's the sucky part. You got to wait for them. I've deployed some of my security officers with the tasers. Obviously, I gave them the kind of the rundown. I never sent them to actual Axon or taser training, which is this year. I'm going to, this year, we're going to be doing taser training. I'm going to be doing taser training. So if you guys are interested in the taser training, please contact me. Let's get the ball rolling. I want to make sure that all the security guards in life are properly trained on using these devices because it's important. We all need training. If you have to go do training for your firearms permit and you have to go through training for your baton permit, then you need to go through training for your taser training to carry a taser. Now, I will say this, that BSIS, which is the Bureau of Security and Investigative Services, are heavily looking into tasers based off the incidents that they're receiving. And I'll tell you this, not a whole lot of incidents that they're getting from a lot of these security guards. They're just tasing people and walking away and acting like it never happened. Well, guess what? Someone's recording somebody. and someone's telling on somebody. So these incidents do get reported, and because they get reported, BSIS is looking into training for this. And I tell this to everybody. It's not an if, it's a when. When BSIS decides to enroll in the Taser training. We're in California. We're the most regulated state in the country. You think that BSIS is not going to capitalize on this and require us to go through training so we have to pay more money into the state? Oh, dude, baby damn. Oh, yeah, we are. And so you guys gotta be watchful for that. So that's why I recommend all you knuckleheads out there to get Taser trained, to learn the effects and the non-effects of tasers. To learn. Like, let me tell you guys this. It's something you guys probably don't even know. Behind these doors is confetti. Behind these prongs. And this confetti, if you guys ever shot a taser at somebody, a little confetti will come out. Little pieces of a confetti. And if you ever get close enough, they all have numbers on them. Now, the numbers are the anti-felon confetti. It's called anti-felon confetti. And what it is it holds the officer accountable. So if the officer says, nope, didn't tase him, they can go back and look at that confetti and say, oh, okay, we're going to match it with your taser. And they're going to see the serial number. There's a serial number behind here. The serial number is going to match this taser here, this confetti that comes out of these blast doors. And that is when, and that's to help, just to validate which officer used the taser. Because sometimes there's a lot going on in an incident. Sometimes the officer doesn't think the taser hit them, but they have to go through all this investigative stuff. And this is what they're used for. So if you guys ever see confetti coming out of the blast doors, that's exactly what it is. Does it apply to you? Not really. But if you're a police officer, yeah, it does. But a security guard, I would say too that they may want to investigate you or the security company. So yeah, they may take evidence of that. And you can't get rid of this confetti. It flies everywhere. So if you think that you're going to clean it all up, it ain't going to happen. And I don't know if you guys remember, but in April 11th, 2010, I think, there was a shooting death of Dante Wright, where the police officer, I'll read the story. The fatal shooting this month of Dante Wright by a Minnesota police officer who alleged confused her pistol for a taser had every appearance of a freak accident. Now, I don't have a firearm with me, but I can tell you this, is that if this police officer had a taser and had a firearm in a life or death situation, I know where my gun's at. Okay. So I don't remember. It's been a while since I've actually tapped into that, but I do remember that she pulled out her firearm versus her taser. And I truly believe that she actually was aiming for her firearm, not her taser. And then she tried to use that as a self-defense claim. And obviously the guy was African American, so it created an outrage because he was a 20-year-old man. It was just another pattern of sloppy and reckless and deadly use of a weapon involved in hundreds of deaths and injuries over the past decade to law enforcement officers that have inconsistent training, and inconsistent or substandard, subpar training. So this police officer that was out there that did not know the difference between a firearm and a taser, shame on the police department and shame on her. Now obviously this is back in like 2013, so it's like quite some time ago. I'm sorry, this is back in like 2010, so it was a long time ago. But it just show the misuse of tasers. So we got to make sure that we're using these appropriate devices and we're using them accordingly, and we have the proper training. There's two incidents from a security company here in Bakersfield. I'm not going to say their name, but if you know, you know. And I'll show you guys the two incidents. But the incidents were involving tasers. The security company thought it was a great idea to start deploying taser to their security officers or guards, and they thought it was a great idea. So what they did was they, deployed them. So they actually did a traffic stop on city property, city streets, did a traffic stop for a road rage incident. The security guard calls backup. You got 3 or 4 security guards out there, and they're all pointing tasers at the guy. The guy obviously gets upset, and he pulls out a little metal bat, and he's going at him, and he's looking at him. He's like, "Dude, get the hell away from me." The security guard tells him to put it down. The guy says, "Go pound sand," and the security guard tases the guy, and they beat him up, hurt him pretty bad. The guy was like 60-year-old man. So that's where it comes to age. Is it appropriate? Is it age appropriate? I'm not saying that you need an ID for taser guns. You don't need an ID, but it's good to know if you're looking at someone and they appear to be a little bit elderly and older or younger. Those are instances we have to make a judgment call. We have to make a phone call. That's the problem with security guards. They don't have a chain of there's no chain of command when it comes to security. They just go and just do what they do and then report it to their superiors. No, call first. Hey, I have an incident with this guy. We got in a road rage incident. Should I detain him? Obviously, your bosses or the company, the owner of the company is going to tell you no. We're not doing that. So, hello. Jeez. But tasers are a good choice to use, especially in hospital settings, where you don't want to have every single guard in there armed. A taser is a good choice for people they're acting erratically and you're unable to get control of them. That's a great case. That's a great time to deploy it. Obviously, there's several other occasions out there where you say, you know what, we're using a taser is great, acceptable. But there's also other occasions where it's not acceptable. So we have to, that's where training comes in. So I'm all out of time, guys. This is real. It's always real. I've been trying to get this podcast in, and I kept falling short. I bought a new camera, and it kept overheating, and then I tried this and I tried that. It was just like left and right. I was having so many issues, and I was like, gosh dang it, when am I gonna be able to get this damn thing done? That I've been working like crazy, so it just made it even worse. Gosh dang it. So, but I'm glad I'm here. I'm really excited to be here. I'm glad I was able to finally get this done. I was supposed to send this out last week and I get a chance to do that. And so now I'm doing it. So now we're here. And then obviously it's the month of February. So hello, Black History Month. I am a Black owned business, obviously here in Bakersfield. So, I'm very, very supportive of other Black security company owners. Especially the ones that are operating here in Bakersfield. I think there's myself and 2 other African-American security company owners, and I just want to let you guys all know that I do appreciate what you guys are all doing, and the fact that we take that big step to be able to go out there and run a company. That's great. So kudos to the security. We got Malone Security and you got 21 Security out there. Do appreciate you guys, and I love talking to you guys too, and sometimes I'll be on the phone with you guys for hours, and I was like, yeah, man, we gotta break it down, man. But yeah, these are good guys, and man, I love these guys, and they got a lot to bring to the table. So I mean, obviously, I'm gonna continue to support them any way I can. Yeah, obviously, for you guys, my birthday is gonna be on Valentine's Day. If you guys are happy to give a damn. So if you guys want to show me some birthday love, appreciate it. Take me out to dinner, buy me a Starbucks. I don't know. But yeah, I've just really, I'm glad. I'm still trying to get this whole video podcast thing all figured out and everything. So bear with me, and I'll start getting flowing. I got my buddy, Jose, who was supposed to be on my on my podcast about last week. Excuse me. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it. He got sick. So we're gonna come back and go through it again. Digital marketing is a big thing for security, and a lot of security companies are struggling when it comes to getting their business out there, getting their content out there. So obviously, we're gonna help you guys out. Obviously, it's I'm struggling with it too, and not really, but I just don't want to be out there. But I think it's time for me to start getting out there a little bit more. So yeah, so obviously it's a good opportunity for me to get out there. So so I'm really excited for the future, really excited for all the things that's going to be going on. And I just can't wait. And if you guys are in town or you guys are around, let's schedule lunch or do something. If anyone has any questions on the taser training, I did tell you guys I was going to start conducting taser training. I haven't really got anybody messaging me about it, so I'm gonna have to start. I guess I'm gonna have to start just knocking on people's doors and say, hey, do you guys need taser training for your staff? So that will be something that'll be going on. I was trying to get it done in March, but it looked like I'm not getting enough people, so we're gonna probably schedule for maybe April or even May. I don't care. It's gonna get done. And then when I can get that going, when I get that training going, then I can get more people to sign up for it, because they're going to see the knowledge and the just to have the knowledge and be able to have that certificate. The reason why I tell this to everyone now, before I let you guys go, the reason why I tell everyone to get taser training, because if you guys get trained by a taser instructed trainer and you guys happen to tase someone, you guys will show that you've had training already, that you've been trained on how to operate a taser. You also been trained by an actual Axon instructor, and then if for some reason anything happens, you need a let's say an expert witness, or you need an attorney from Axon to come and support to support you on your behalf. They will be there. They will be there to help you with this court case if you do happen to tase somebody, and you were in the right. They'll back you. And then one more thing too, on the taser pulses. Guys, you guys work security, stop carrying those freaking taser pulses. Stop. Because those are for home defense, not for I'm working a security guard on a property defense. Those things have a 30-second ride. The reason why they're 30 seconds is because if a person, man, woman, child, whatever, is using this taser, they have 30 seconds to get to flee. It's a fight or flight type of mentality there, and you have to be able to have the proper people in place. Excuse me. You need to have the proper equipment. Do not use the taser pulses because it goes on for 30 seconds. If you've never been tased, then you will not know how it feels. It's not a good feeling. So imagine that's going on for 30 seconds. It's very long, and you're going to hurt or kill someone. But if you are a citizen and someone's attacking you, that's what the 30 seconds is for. It gives you 30 seconds to run. So keep that in mind, please. Anyway.
Been watching you, watching me, and it's plain to see that you got your mind